all three of those quarterbacks.
There we go. So let's get into our second quarter, which our second quarter topic this week is we're talking about, as we're halfway through the season, who we think is going to make their way into the playoffs and who we think is going to make their way out of the playoff contention. So Connor, in the AFC, who do you have going in and why?
In the AFC, I've got the I keep on saying Oakland, the Raiders formerly from Oakland, now from Las Vegas. Currently, they're sitting in the number 8 position. Let's remember, top 7 make it in. I think as this year progresses, there is a home field advantage that Las Vegas will have, and that'll be the Vegas flu. If you're unsure what the Vegas flu is, maybe look up what the South Beach flu is or the LA flu. That I think is a real, oh my goodness, user stiff arm. OJ Howard.
Boom.
Wow.
Dance for me. Oh, man.
Dance for me. I think that the Las Vegas flu will be a home field advantage. I think that the Raiders have already played the Chiefs once and won. I think they're looking at the rest of their schedule. I think it's pretty favorable to them. With that second to last week against the Dolphins, I think could have some real serious playoff contention if the Dolphins keep playing well. But I think that they're playing some bad teams, the Jets and the Falcons, record-wise bad teams. They're playing some rookie quarterbacks. They've got the Chargers twice and the Dolphins left. And I think that a coach like John Gruden can take advantage of bad teams, rookie quarterbacks, and really give Las Vegas a chance to sneak into the playoffs. And I think they're going to do it this year. So that's my take. What's your take, Rutledge?
I'm taking the Dolphins, even though I'm kind of like iffy on the Tua situation, and I agree with you. The Dolphins are doing what the Jags are doing with starting their rookie quarterback this year. Is we're seeing what we got, but the Dolphins' schedule really plays off in their favor. Dolphins have the Chargers, the Broncos, the Jets, the Bengals. They have to play the Chiefs, but they also play the Pats, which is more winnable. They play the Raiders, they play the Buffalo, and they play Arizona. That's a very run-the-table-yourself schedule. Besides that, and the AFC in the wild card spots, I feel like is very up for grabs this year. I think the Dolphins. Dominic Sue's going to step on you on Thanksgiving. I think the Dolphins very much have potential to make moves if they can get some help with people losing, but I think they can finally get themselves back in the playoffs. Do they get out of the first round? I don't think so, but I think Dolphins. NFC. That wasn't the question. NFC, I'm going to take the Detroit Lions. Same thing. Detroit Lions have, and I'll pull it in a second, Detroit Lions have a very doable schedule, and their division is starting to look a little bit more wide open. I'm not talking about Green Bay, although Connor's hoping Green Bay falls apart here at the end. But they don't have anyone too crazy. The Bears are starting to look kind of weak. They have a couple easier teams on there. Man, there's just holes in this defense. They have a couple easier teams. They're only third in the NFC. They play Houston coming up. They have to play the Bucks, but they've had the Vikings twice. They have Carolina. They have Washington. So same thing. To me, at this point in the season, we know who you are, so we kind of start to look at schedule. Who is your NFC on the way in?
NFC on the way in. I'll take a very similar. I'm going to stay in the same division, just different team. Danny Dimes dropping it. Chicago Bears. We know Matt Nagy can coach. The fact that we know he's a good coach. We know how important having a good coach is. He can even get Mitch Trubisky in the playoffs. I think that the Packers are starting to look a little shaky as we head here into the 2-minute warning. The Packers are getting exposed yet again as a team that can get pushed around, and as it gets colder, right? And I think the Packers could stumble. I think the Bears could nip the Packers. The rest of the NFC North isn't looking great, and the Bears have only played the Lions once, and I think that the Bears could really turn this around and make a big impact, and yet again sneak in the playoffs. I'm saying the 8-seed Bears sneaking it in there.
Very cool. Steven very much agrees with our takes on either Raiders or Dolphins going through. But actually, Steven took a hot take here in the comments. He has either Chiefs or Steelers representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. So we look for your NFC take on that, Steven. You're out there watching us. We appreciate the loyal viewers. So let's go into who's going in. Or who's going out. Who is on their way out? Connor, who do you have in the AFC on their way out because they're falling apart?
I'm going the Browns, and I'm going to quote a very inspirational football movie called The Replacements, where they spend a lot of time talking about, that was not a smart play. But I was making a great comment there, so I think it evens out.
There you go.
The idea is, you can get into quicksand. You can push so hard that, no matter what happens, you're always going to be wrong. And I think Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns are starting to run into a little bit of quicksand here. They had that tough game against the Raiders, and little dropsies right there. That's no good. And I think that they're really going to struggle. I think Baker Mayfield's going to keep pressing and pressing and pressing too hard. What made Baker play pretty well was that he had a lot of good players around him, and they didn't ask Baker Mayfield to do too much. And now I think Baker is going to try to just throw the team on his back and really lead them, which I don't think he's good enough. I think Baker Mayfield is the fourth best quarterback in the AFC North, and I think they're going to really struggle, and they're going to find themselves on the outside in here in the playoffs. What about you, Rutledge?
I want to say I just agree with your Baker take. He still tries to play like he's at Oklahoma football, and the NFL is not Oklahoma football. You're not sitting in a division where it's lopsided to where at the time he was in college, just the dominant king. So my team in the AFC, who I think is on their way out, is the Tennessee Titans. Sure, they went undefeated, but they've dropped the last two, and they've looked different. It just doesn't look... I watched the Titans-Steelers game. Not the one, of course, Steven and I played. I lost that. Thanks for... Oh, no! Classic Rutledge not paying attention sack. But as it goes with the Titans, their schedule is they have a lot of decent teams, but I see them... But it's winnable games, but I see them dropping these easy winnable games. There's something wrong in Tennessee. And you could say, well, it was their break. It was their time. But are we going? I feel like there is definitely something going on with the Titans, and they're falling apart. I think the wheels came off. I know the players tried to practice in parks and stuff, but they just don't look the same as they did before break. So I have the Titans going on the way out. I don't see them doing well, and I think it's going to be a shocker. I think all you're going to see on sports is the collapse of the Tennessee Titans.
Now, before you go on, I will like to say, I know you said you disagreed with me on my Baker take, but I think you and I are actually very similar on the Baker take.
For Baker Mayfield?
Yes, that Baker does not have the best players around him, which I think he benefited from.
I agree with you. I agree with your Baker take, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, and I agree. He had talent around him. I think he's not using the talent around him that he has, if I clarify my take there. I think Baker thinks that he can just run around like he did in Norman and throw bombs to players that are just more talented, and the playing field's evened out, so he doesn't know what to do with that.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Well, with
that, but he's on the way down.
Yes, he is. I will share who I think is going out, and in light of the fact that we are getting near our halftime hot takes, I'm going to share. This is a pretty warm take here. I'm going to say that first off, Danny Dimes just dropping it. Oh my goodness, so close. I'm going to say that the New Orleans Saints are going to be on the outside looking in when these playoffs have started.
Why you got to do that?
As what I suspect with Tom Brady, I think Drew Brees' performance will tail off towards the end of the year. Succumb to that quote old man arm. And even though, Saquon, very close. Even though I think that, the cumulative records of the teams are a little softer. I know I mentioned the Falcons earlier with the Raiders. I do think that the Falcons are a little bit better than their record shows. And San Francisco and Philadelphia, three teams that are better than their records indicate, all are on the Saints schedule. And don't forget another game against Tampa Bay. And Michael Thomas is having a really difficult time just finding the field in terms of gameplay. Come on.
All right, Connor. You've got 2 seconds, and then I'm going to close us out on this take on this half.
Yes.
So Saints.
So Saints are going to be outside looking in, a lot of problems, and they're just going to be struggling. So
Okay. My final is we close up this half. I'm going to take this kick return, then we'll pause for halftime hot takes like we do every week. I am going to go. I think I can. The Saints struggles I don't want to agree with, but something's going on in NOLA. I'm taking the struggle as the LA Rams. And while Aaron Donald may rank himself 99 on the defensive line, like we've seen over and over again with Houston, just because you have one stud in the defensive line does not mean you get there. I think Jared Goff is starting to show his true colors in that he's truly not an NFL caliber quarterback. I think their offense struggles. They have Jalen Ramsey as a cornerback, but they just can't seem to put the pieces together. I worry Sean McVay was like Doug Peterson in the sense of your stuff is new and different, so people say, hey, we got it, but now you got to figure it out. They're in Seattle's division, which Seattle is ridiculous, with DK Metcalf turning into a stud. They have to play Arizona, they have to play the Bucks, they have to play the Seahawks twice. They have a tough out. They even have the 49ers who can put up some points. I don't see them sort of making it. And when you surrender Tua Tagovailoa's first win and you only put up 17 in Miami, even if you could say they traveled, they're gonna really be in for a world of hurting. So I have the LA Rams on the way